NCIS is one of the most popular mystery and crime-solving shows on TV. With 20 seasons so far, there's no doubt about it. But besides that, the show is also known for its over-the-top funny moments. For starters, Gibbs and his fight against technology. Mark Harmon's Leroy Jethro Gibbs is multi-talented. He's really good at what he does and can solve any crime. Not only is he an excellent mentor to his fellow NCIS agents, he's also capable of building a boat by himself from scratch. But everyone has a weakness, and Gibbs's is technology.
He wasn't in trouble, but I know better. After all, Gibbs is Gibbs. So, before I gave him the bug finder...
Some of the funniest parts of the show happen when he has to use modern technology that he doesn't know how to use. On Reddit, an NCIS fan said that their favorite episodes are the ones where Gibbs struggles to understand how technology works.
Boss, QR codes require an app, and, well, you're just not equipped.
Not equipped, McGee?
No, I am equipped. Just doesn't seem to be a code on here.
They even provided specific instances, such as when he used his flip phone's camera to look for a QR code hidden in a painting. Of course, they also brought up the time when Gibbs, of all people, posed as an IT specialist to solve a case, and it was just as awkward as you'd imagine. Even so, you need to give him credit for stepping outside of his comfort zone. If you thought that was funny, wait till you hear this next one. The time Gibbs and Fornell catch Diane and McGee on the couch. One of the most memorable and amusing parts of the show is Fornell's reaction to seeing Diane and McGee on the couch. Gibbs is seen looking blankly at the two people sleeping on the couch together, and then Fornell walks into the room. Let's just say he appears shocked upon seeing the two, and he exclaims, "Holy 4th of July weenie roast! What the hell am I looking at?" The sentence is delivered flawlessly by actor Joe Spano, and his voice becomes louder as he says it. Gibbs's reaction when McGee wakes up is what makes it even more amusing, because he appears to be at a loss for words. He quickly tells his boss that everything isn't as it seems, prompting Gibbs to inquire as to what exactly it appears to be. Of course, McGee had nothing to say in response to it. In fact, Fornell's use of the weenie roast line has even turned into a popular internet meme.
Hey, Gibbs, what's taking so long? Come on, people! Chop, chop!
As many fans have stated that this is their favorite moment from the show. The show is aware of this fact because it even makes a reference to it later on. When Diane finds Gibbs on the couch with one of his ex-wives, she makes the same remark. And fans love this moment as well, of course. As awkward as this might have been, this next moment is something straight out of a sermon. Remember when Abby vows to crucify the person who framed Tony for murder? What a hilarious moment. During the 3rd season of the show, Tony is falsely accused of murder, and the evidence strongly points to him being the killer.
Why would Gibbs come here?
I say we find this Marcy woman and ask her.
Abby, of course, is very troubled and worried about this. And after learning that he had done nothing wrong, she answers with a monologue. That is unquestionably one of the funniest moments of the entire show. She says, with an accent like that of a gospel preacher, that she will rise up and find the person who framed Tony.
Alaskans. In fact, Dr. Palmer.
The fact that her voice is echoing and her assistant is slowly turning away from her only adds to the effect. Putting this heavenly moment aside, this next moment will make Santa think twice before climbing down the chimney, because the characters find a dead body in one.
Does she know?
According to her medical records, she was diagnosed a few months ago.
Yeah, you heard that right. But the show somehow managed to find humor even in this. Tony tells Duck that the poor dead guy resembles a chunk of beef jerky. When Gibbs asks to how the person died, Duck explains that he's still trying to figure out the why of it, as the body had been smoked inside the chimney. When Ziva is shocked and says, "Smoked?" Duck responds, "Yes, like a fine cut of meat." Within seconds, Tony says that he is, in fact, beef jerky. You'll never change, will you, Tony?
What's going on?
Well, we're hoping that you can tell us.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I guess it'll be a long time before I can look at beef jerky without thinking of this. Keeping the meatiness aside, does anyone remember the moment when Tony tried to use sign language and Gibbs didn't let that slide at all? He snapped at Tony and told him to go wash his hands for saying something like that. He's got a point though. The deaf community doesn't take well to people who invent their own signs. A fan recalled the episode on Twitter, claiming that the scene in which Gibbs tells Tony that is when they first fell in love with the show, because they couldn't stop laughing.
You never know. Solving this case could depend on it.
And neither could I. Speaking of Tony, remember what his friends did when he supposedly died? They started stealing his stuff, and even admitted to doing so. Palmer took his American Pie coffee mug, while Ziva took his letter opener. Ducky tried to sneakily return the stapler to Tony after he asked where his Mickey Mouse stapler was, but got caught in the act. He immediately said that he didn't believe for a moment that Tony was dead and welcomed him back. Real smooth, Ducky, real smooth. Talking about possessions, one of the funniest moments in season 17 was another interaction between Gibbs and Ducky, the time when Gibbs asked Ducky for a book on Greek mythology.
He never told you about us?
It didn't come up.
It made Ducky so happy. He told Gibbs how delighted he was that he was taking an interest in this deep and detailed historical knowledge. But he obviously misjudged Gibbs' enthusiasm for books. He disappoints Ducky by saying, "I hope there are pictures," and he just kinda skims through the book. It's safe to say Gibbs still does not understand what an Achilles heel is. Don't worry, Gibbs, I'm not judging you at all.
Marcy just helped us idea her as Camilla Solace.
Speaking of Marcy, are she and Gibbs?
Somehow the show made its way from Greek mythology to unicorns. This happened when Ziva asked a soldier about a military base, but the man refused to respond. He told her that it was top secret. Tony, always the funny one, asked the soldier right away what they've hidden in there. He then wonders whether there are space aliens, Bigfoot, or the Ark of the Covenant on the base. Finally, he says that there's just one possibility left. Of course, Ziva, Tony, and McGee all utter the word unicorn at the same time. That's pretty wholesome if you ask me, and this isn't the first time the trio has pulled off something like this, because when they make their way to Gibbs' hometown for an investigation in Season 6's episode, Heartland, they find out he actually has a father, which led to Tony, Ziva, and McGee making some very creative jokes about Gibbs' birth. Tony jokes that he has so many questions that his head is spinning, and says that Gibbs actually came from somewhere.
It's not your problem.
Boss, you serious right now?
He wasn't always the legendary character we know today. He was also a regular kid. Ziva responds by saying that she thought he was made of clay and then brought to life by a group of mystics. Good one, Ziva. McGee makes a Superman joke and claims that he believes Gibbs arrived on Earth when his planet collapsed in a capsule. And it doesn't stop there. Tony claims that Gibbs is the avatar of Vishnu and he was raised in a cabbage patch. Can't say I blame them now, can I? Realizing that even your boss was once a young child can be a bit shocking for some. I really do hope you enjoyed all these funny moments as much as I did, and I honestly can't wait for more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.